Hey there, friend. You started playing in Mists of Pandaria, did you? Oh, you're looking to play Classic when it comes out. What's different about Classic, you say? Well, hold on, let's just rearrange some things. Let's get rid of that pesky flying. LFR. Transmog, you definitely don't need that. We really don't need that many playable races. Quest markers, what are you, a baby? Whoa, Speedy, let's slow down that GCD a bit. Alright, almost done, almost done. Let's shave off a continent or two. Ah, yeah, there we go. Vanilla. Alright, maybe that's not the best sales pitch. So how do we get the newer generation of WoW players to come and try Classic? We know that it's a fucking brilliant game, so we'll already be there. But if we want to make the community even larger, it's the people who've never played it before that we need to convince to come along. Which is actually kinda tricky, because from their perspective vanilla probably looks like WoW with less content and quality of life. The first thing we should establish is that these two games aren't similar at all. You have similar concepts, such as raiding and PvP, but your overall experience is wildly different. So, firstly, Mr. New Player, if you're watching this, immediately dispel any illusion you might have in your head that 1 to 60 in Classic and 1 to 60 in Retail are at all similar, because that's not even close to being true. In Modern WoW you might skim through a few zones and then reach 60. It's so horribly paced in my opinion that you don't really have any time to take any of the zones in, and you only see a small fraction of the world. In Classic, you'd better believe you're going to be visiting almost every zone, because XP is scarce. And these ain't no bitch zones either, I'm talking pre-Cata revamp zones. Places like Stranglethorn, Stone Talon, etc. are completely different. Old Thousand Needles, or as I like to call it, better Thousand Needles, isn't flooded anymore. The Shimmering Flats is a masterpiece, alright? You're gonna be doing a lot of walking, a lot of teaming up with people, and a lot of fighting or avoiding the enemy faction. The slower pace of the leveling experience, and the necessity to team up for group quests means that you'll be interacting with other players more, which for an MMO is great. Even socially awkward me who doesn't like talking to people appreciates this feature. A lot of my most memorable experiences with this game came from the interactions I had with others. As someone who's played both versions of the game extensively, it's actually surprising how different the leveling experience is, despite taking place on the same two continents. Speaking of interacting with other players, in Modern WoW you have fucking sharding, and what a horrible idea this was. Do you remember invading Argus, the Legion's home planet?
That's dead.
You've got no friends!
If you felt like you were invading the demon planet by yourself, it's because of the new way the servers are set up. The last time I feel like my server had a real, visible community on it was back on the Timeless Isle in Mists, so thank God this doesn't exist in Classic. You'll have a community on your server, you'll see other players often, you'll recognise people, and you might even make a few friends or rivals along the way. I guess to summarise what I'm trying to say is that anyone that thinks that Classic is just 1 to 60 bits slower has completely missed the point. The community aspect as well as the absence of modern WoW features make this game wildly different, and you shouldn't let the idea of levelling through zones you've seen in game before put you off. Not only have most of them been revamped since, but the overall feel of this game is different enough to distract you. The lack of heirlooms makes it satisfying to get gear upgrades while you level. The lack of flying creates a sense of scale and makes interactions with other players more likely. The lack of portals in every major city encourage a conversation with your friendly neighbourhood mage. More elite quests and a tougher world to level through encourage you to group up. Stopping to eat and drink, and having to return to major cities to learn new spells, adds a sense of RPG realism. I hope some of these examples convey the point I'm trying to make. Modern WoW has a laser focus on endgame content. Classic WoW is a lot more focused on the multiplayer experience and immersing you in the world itself. This is the core of what Classic WoW is. At its best moments, it transcends genre to perform its art, and create an experience. A lot of us are criticised for being nostalgic, and that's probably because a lot of what made Classic great is based on feel, which is often hard to describe. It's a brilliant combination of scale, danger, atmosphere and community. That's all I really have to say. If you've never played Classic and want to see what all of the hype is about, I'd say give it a fair chance, at least until about level 30. That's when you'll get some more interesting abilities, and reach some of the more interesting zones. Anyway, that's my input. Cheerio!